Welcome back to the No Clue podcast, the second video episode. We are back.
We are back, episode 138.
Okay, 130. I definitely lost count.
Yeah, me too.
I'm one of your hosts. I'm Mike.
I'm Tyler. Welcome.
A lot of basketball to get into today.
Trade deadline, Sweet 16. Which one you want to start?
All sports today, by the way. Not really anything for music.
Yeah, all sports, short episode. We'll be back with double the music next week. So,
yeah.
All right.
Let's start with March Madness.
Okay.
It's been a fun. We talked about it last time, but it just keeps rolling.
Yeah, man. Big games. But you're starting to see the teams that are really, really good kind of separate themselves in a way.
In some cases.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't talk about Monday, and it kind of threw off my timeline. Because we went last Sunday.
Yeah.
So did you see anything Monday that was like a big surprise?
Which were the games on Monday?
Iowa lost.
Not surprised.
UCLA beat the Abilene Christian.
Not surprised.
Gonzaga beat Oklahoma.
Not surprised.
Creighton in Ohio was a weird one.
Yeah. But Ohio was they were overachieving in a way. No disrespect to them, but they were underdogs.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I was just mad Colorado lost because I thought we talked about they played great in the first round. They looked really good.
Yeah.
Obviously, Maryland losing, that hurt. Another team played really well in the opening round.
Yep.
And I'm gonna be honest, I was burned out, so I only watched one full game Monday.
Okay. Which one?
It was the worst one. It was USC just babying Kansas.
Yeah.
The game was over in literally less than 15 minutes.
Yep.
Oh my God. Both of the Mobleys dominated.
They're great, man. They are tough. Super tough.
I was just impressed by Kansas too. And then to turn to this.
Yeah.
I didn't even have words.
Right.
It was just one of those where just one team is way better in every way.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably the worst blowout of the tournament, honestly.
Yeah, especially given how high of a seed Kansas is. That makes it even worse,
Yeah.
We didn't talk about Texas Tech, Arkansas, right? Did you watch that one?
No, I missed that one.
Arkansas has had an easy road. That's all I'll say. Texas Tech wasn't easy. It was a good game, but this, you start with Colgate, then, close game Texas Tech, close game Oral Roberts, but it's Oral Roberts. And we know
they could have won it.
They could have won it, but they were still playing 2-on-5 most of the game. So, I would say the Oral Roberts in Florida, but we talked about that, right? Last time?
Yeah. It's crazy. Before the Oral Roberts game, I forgot what game was on, but the second game I had watched, and they were in the post-game show talking about the Oral Roberts upcoming game.
Yeah. And
all the Barkley, Kenny, all them were like, oh, Arkansas is going to take away A. Smith and O'Banner.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. Didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
They were lucky to win. I thought A. Smith, the way he's been playing, the shots he's been making.
Yeah.
Seeing that clip, I'm like, oh, man. Knowing, he's not going to make it, but I was like, man, this could have easily dropped.
Yeah.
That hurt.
Yeah. It was right on the money. It really was.
Yeah. He got such a good shot, too.
Yep.
All speed, of course.
Was he a senior?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not an Oral Roberts expert, unfortunately.
Yeah. They had 0 points off the bench.
Like, what?
0 bench
That makes
points.
no sense.
Yeah.
How you put up 70 points and you got nothing from your bench?
0.
It's insanity.
Yeah.
No, but let's go a little bit in order. We kind of went out of order with that one.
Okay.
Oral Roberts was the third game.
Okay.
Let's go in reverse because the 2 games prior I watched.
Okay, where were they?
Baylor, Villanova.
Okay.
This was. I don't want to rush to the end of this game because it was very close, very competitive.
It was. Yeah.
And Villanova, every time I watch them, I always tell you, like, dude, just how fundamentally sound their players develop.
Yep.
I mean, the jump stops, the pump fakes, like there's no like bad fundamentals on anybody that plays in Villanova.
Not at all. Yeah.
And it showed. But Baylor, for a while, you had kind of hyped up Baylor a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really see it. I'm like, they kind of messy. Clearly, they got a lot of talent, but nothing crazy.
They're
then,
tough,
like 10 minutes left in the game, they just said no. Like, we're not losing. We're way better.
They flipped the switch. I mean,
bro, I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was shocked. But like, they started making shots and just getting better shots, playing with more confidence. The defense picked up.
Yep.
And Villanova was like, I think I told you they were bending all game.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, you bend long enough, you're gonna break.
Right.
And eventually, Baylor started getting drives, kicks,
forcing a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
I mean, Villanova had 15 turnovers, and Baylor had 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not gonna beat a number 1 seed turning the ball over like that.
You're not gonna beat a bunch of athletes like that turning the ball over. I mean, because it's a dunk on the other end.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, they're tough. They're deep as far as you don't like. There's two types of deep in college basketball to me. It's one where you have guys on the bench that could be starting because they're just as good as the starters, but then you have the I don't lose anything kind of deep, right? Like maybe the guys on the bench should be bench players, but they come in and they can do most things that the starters can do.
I got you.
And Baylor has that. They lose nothing when guys come out the game for them. It just next guy up. It looks like the starters still, and they just keep playing the same way.
They're so physical.
Yeah,
especially the guards.
Yeah,
I thought obviously Donovan's little brother. If you've been watching the tournament, you don't got to hear me say anything. He's been great.
Yeah, he has.
But I really like the guy who I thought messed up his ankle from the hustle play. Vital.
Yeah, Vital. Yep.
Vital. Yeah.
He's like a guard forward. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a thick, like strong man kind of guard.
Mm-hmm.
He was having a big impact during that run.
Yeah.
And just their physicality from everybody I saw, I really liked.
Yeah, me too. And they're all over the floor. They dive for everything. If you lose the ball, they're going right for it. 2 guys are swarming you.
And Butler was another one.
Yeah, he's like
a vet.
Yeah, man. That story where he really wanted to go to the league. The scouts told him they didn't see enough point guard skills in him. They didn't see the shot. They didn't see him as a floor general. He comes back and he looks like the best point guard in the country. This is crazy. He's tough, man. He got a work ethic, obviously, and they look good. And they shot pretty bad. Both teams shot bad, but
that's what I think kept Villanova in the game for a while.
Uh-huh.
And some of it was their defense, but like Baylor's, they just didn't look like an explosive offensive team for a while.
Right.
And once everything clicked.
Yeah.
That was the quickest of all the games from this weekend. that was by far the quickest. Like, oh, even game. It's over. Like the just the sudden, like it went from competitive close game to blowout.
Yep.
Easily the quickest transition.
Yeah. Yep. And Baylor, man, with their rebounding and the turnovers, obviously they get so many shots off. So many shots. I mean, they took 60 shots, 59 shots in a college game.
That's OD.
Yeah, that's a lot of shots. That's like an NBA amount of shots. So,
that's why Villanova broke.
Yeah, it is.
It's just you can't 60 plays. You got to play great defense. Like that's literally asking for the impossible.
Right, and they didn't shoot well. It took them 59 shots to get 62 points.
Right.
So, both teams shot. Baylor was 3 for 19 from 3, and Villanova was 3 for 17. So that's both teams shot pretty bad. Like you said, Baylor shooting a little bit worse kept Villanova there.
Yeah. But Villanova, man, they were missing their
starting guard.
Yeah. What's his name? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember either, to be honest.
But again, there's another team who's making a run without their best player that we'll talk about.
Yeah.
But I was really impressed with Villanova.
Yeah. Yep. They look good.
Yeah.
They look good. And they have Jay Wright has a way of, no matter what team he has, they always look like a veteran team.
Yes.
No matter how young they are, they always come out like a veteran team to me. So, all right. What's next?
The first game of the weekend.
Which was?
Loyola Chicago, Oregon State.
Yeah.
Didn't know shit about Oregon State, I'll tell you right now.
I saw the Oregon State, Oklahoma State game. And unfortunately, I saw them work Tennessee, my alma mater. But, yeah, man, I'm going to be honest. This game it had its moments where it was really boring. But then it had its moments where I'm like, okay, this is enjoyable. And then Oregon State, man, they just, what is his name? Ethan?
Is that right?
Ethan Thompson was just the best player on the floor the whole game to me. He looked great. I
gotta be honest. I liked Loyola Chicago's run.
Yeah.
And I was rooting for them because I'd heard of Thompson like a teeny bit, but nothing to the point where I even knew that he played for Oregon State, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
So I was rooting for Loyola Chicago, but there's not even really a deep dive to this game for me. They couldn't make shots.
Right.
And I thought Loyola Chicago got a ton of open, maybe not all wide open, but good looks.
Mm-hmm. 5 for 23 from 3. 21%.
Yeah, and again, it's different. Baylor, Villanova, they were struggling to get good shots all game.
Mm-hmm.
But here, you're getting good shots. You're not making them. It's tough to win like that.
It is. Absolutely.
And Thompson being the best player was like a slight difference in the game, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
Again, if the senior, and I was trashing him during the game, Williamson.
Yeah.
He played awful.
He did.
If he makes 2 more shots, we're talking about a different game.
Yeah.
And his shots were super basic.
Yep. Wide open wing.
I don't know,
threes.
Just catch a shoe, you're wide open, good ball movement, or like an offensive rebound, you just missing them.
Yeah, he had some practice level shots. Yeah.
It's a rough way to go out as a senior, man.
Yep. Yep, it is.
That's really it for me. For a while, I was kind of Oregon State had impressed me. Their guards were kind of better as ball handlers.
Yeah.
A big part of that being Thompson.
Yeah.
But again, the whole reason Oregon State pulled away is just missing open shots.
Yep.
Basketball is that simple sometimes.
Yep.
I did not see Syracuse Houston. I saw stat-wise, Buddy got strapped.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of that one either. I saw a little bit of it. And Houston is a well-oiled machine, man. They are. They look
I haven't seen them yet.
They look very complete. They
Yeah.
move the ball really well. They play really hard defense. They're just a real balanced team, and Syracuse isn't very balanced. That's kind of what the big separation was for me. And the way Houston plays, that 2-3 was nothing. They play that kind of game, move the ball game that kind of broke through the 2-3 really well. Quentin Grimes,
okay,
he's great. I mean,
I was really concerned. I was like, man, no shot. Syracuse wins again.
Yeah, because
they were probably the worst. Honestly, like just looking at some of the games from this weekend, Syracuse, I could make a case is the worst team left. Like coming into this weekend.
I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I guess UCLA maybe.
They're seated lower, but they're not worse. I don't think, at least.
Okay.
They're Pac-12 conference is a little different, so the seeding changes. I don't think they played all their games either. So
okay.
And that's the big thing about seeding, and I noticed this with the women's tournament too. The seeding this year was all jacked up because of COVID. Like the seed, because some of these teams played all their games, some of these teams missed 6 games. So
some of these teams missed like 20 days of like just anything.
Right. So the percentage, their winning percentage, the winning percentage is all different for everybody because very few teams played the same amount of games.
Yeah. So
the seeding got really kind of jacked. They didn't play the teams that were like easy dubs normally.
Right.
So yeah, they play like the mandatory conference games, and if your conference is good and you only play the conference games, you probably caught some L's.
Yeah, and with the NCAA tournament is so much about the matchups that I feel bad that like in hindsight, some people like the real college basketball experts will look at somebody's run and like kind of downgrade it or dismiss it to some extent just because of the seeding.
Yeah.
Like you meant, like if Arkansas makes a deep run, playing Colgate the first round is not going to improve their resume to anybody.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and you play Oral Roberts your third game. So it's like, on paper, obviously. Like, we watch Oral Roberts, they work their way there. But on paper, they're like, oh, yeah, you guys made it to the Elite 8? Who'd you beat in the Sweet 16? Oral Roberts? Like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Cool. That's one of those, like, you think you're trying to make conversation about, like, college basketball.
Yeah.
And then they throw out Oral Roberts. You're like, oh. Good win.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So, all right. What else?
Let's talk about the 2 games from today. Watched both of them.
Yep.
I don't know which one I want to start. I guess we'll go in order.
Gonzaga, Creighton. I liked Creighton, man. I liked their team.
I did too. I told you this. They play like an NBA team.
Yeah.
Their pace is very NBA-esque.
Yeah, it is.
Everything they do is like designed to get quick attacks, like quick opportunities. And it worked. It worked like against them and for them at some points during the game. Because this was weird to me. They didn't turn it over a lot.
No, they didn't.
Which is normally like the key stat when you're playing Messi.
Right.
And they didn't turn it over, but kind of late in the first half, I'm like, man, they're taking a lot of shots that these guys seem to think like they should be making. But they just didn't look good.
Right.
What's the big dude with the goggles? Mahogany? Is that right? Something like
Mahoney.
Mahoney.
Yeah.
Bro, he came in there, made his first 2 shots.
Yeah.
And dude,
he thought he was on fire the rest of the game.
Exactly. And they talked about the whole game is how he was in a shooting slump coming into the game.
He thought it was back. He thought when it rains, it pours.
It wasn't. He made some, but he took a lot.
Yep.
And he really I don't want to say he shot them out the game because he didn't take that many shots.
Mm-hmm.
Not like the dude for Ohio State, whose name escapes me right now. Washington.
Yeah.
Not like that. But it was just like you still have 15 to 20 seconds, but instead of making extra passes or trying to get a better shot, you just go up.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was bad. And Gonzaga, they're disciplined.
Very disciplined.
They're very inside out.
Yep.
Suggs is, apparently his ceiling is high according to some people. But he played well, man. I like how he gives him like a creative handle that I haven't seen there often.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've had good college guards come through, but a lot of times it's guys that are like very fundamentally sound.
Yeah.
Very, very basic dribbling the ball.
Yep. Very Suggs, safe in a lot of ways.
Yes, great word for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought Suggs gives him a little bit of an interesting dynamic that I don't see.
Yeah. Yep.
But who impressed me the most, surprisingly, was Zigorowski.
Yeah, Zagorowski. Yeah, he's had a good tournament. He's kind of been their leader.
I will say, from every game I've seen in the tournament, he's the most NBA ready point guard I've seen.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot of good guards. Thompson, obviously. I would even maybe A. Smith is like a potential NBA guard, maybe.
Yeah.
But none of them have really looked like Suggs is another one, but none of them have looked like point guards to me.
Right.
Zagorowski was the first one who showed me like high-level scoring talent while being a point guard.
Yeah, he definitely has a different kind of floor generalship than the other guys you named, for sure. Yeah.
And it's weird because he dribbles with his head up and he makes the right plays and he sees a lot of like the creative point guard vision plays.
Mm-hmm.
But a couple times in this game, he seemed to see it and the pass was like a little bit late.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe that was just Gonzaga, playing well, but besides that, man, his scoring talent, I thought, is NBA ready.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's a big off the dribble shooter. That's obviously huge.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Steph. So
yeah.
But Gonzaga is they're just too tough inside. Creighton just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, and Gonzaga has like the they're top 5 probably in the tournament when it comes to inside outside ability.
Yes.
For sure. I was gonna say first, but that might be a little bit of a stretch. But they're really, really good because their guys are really dangerous going to the basket. They're guards, and you got guys that are just knockdown shooters, man. Yeah, they're tough, man.
That's something. Another thing I think they've been much better. They look a little bit more explosive from the perimeter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a subtle difference. I don't think it's like a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
But just watching them specifically today, they look a little more built for a shootout than they normally do.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So I agree. I think that's a lot of times what kills them is they kind of have like a shooting slump and they can't play offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're poised to keep going, to be honest.
And they also have that if we need a basket, we have guys that'll just go get a basket. Like Suggs and Nembhard, and Kispert not off the dribble, but Suggs and Nembhard for sure can go create a good shot.
Yes,
every time. And I think before when who they had Nigel Williams-Goss, I think 2 years ago they had
He was super safe with the handle.
Super safe. Yeah. I forgot who Olynyk's point guard was. But what was Stockton Jr. there? Right?
I think so. Yeah, I think he was.
And Pangos? Those two?
Yeah. Pangos definitely was there.
Nobody could get a basket. No, we need a basket. We're probably not going to get it.
Dribbling, like just execute the offense.
Yeah.
Hey, the offense is not working. Hey, that's all we got.
Yep. Then they had Pargo, Pargo's brother, the Pargo that played the NBA's brother.
Yeah. Gennaro's brother.
Yeah, Jeremy, I think the other one was the one at Gonzaga.
Right.
All he could really do is dunk. Kind of a street ball player. I liked him, but they never had what they have now where Nembhard can ISO. Suggs can ISO and like, oh, we need a good shot. We can go get a good shot. And I don't know if every team in the tournament, even remaining, has that. I'm not sure if they do. I think everyone else is questionable, and they're 100% they got it. So,
yeah, I'll say if any team has a hope of beating them, you can't let Timmy get like 3 back downs and get straight to the rim.
Yeah.
Like sure. He's big, and a lot of teams probably can't guard him.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna have an almost impossible time beating them if you're letting Timmy, back down a couple times and drop step you like 2-3 times in a row on multiple occasions.
Right. Exactly. Yep. And the thing is, they're all willing passers too, because he's not a black hole at all.
Always. That's Gonzaga 101.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Sometimes to a fault.
Yep. All right. Second game. And we're recording. By the way, we're recording during the Alabama game. So for people, we're not going to talk about that game because we're watching it right now. So
we can make predictions about the last one.
I'm going with USC.
Yeah, me too.
I think they have the
Mobley's looks.
Yeah, I was going to say hot take. I think they have the best player in the tournament. So, that's really all I have to say about them.
It's not a hot take to me. From the 10 minutes of Kansas game that I saw, I was like, whoa.
He is tough, man. Super tough. Okay. Michigan beat the crap out of Florida State. Florida State.
Maybe this is a hot take, but the most perfect performance of the tournament so far.
Absolutely. Not a hot take for me either.
I didn't see a flaw.
No, me neither.
Honestly, every aspect of the game that you needed to take care of to win the game.
Yep.
Michigan got it.
Yep.
Discipline, IQ,
yep.
Aggression, rebounding, moving the ball, anything I could defense. Literally every basketball thing that comes to mind, they dominated.
Yep, they dive for loose balls. They take charges. They make extra passes. They seal off their man when the guard is driving. That is huge. And people do not know how hard that is for guards and for big men to be able to seal. And they make it look easy. They make everyone on the team they give everyone on the team an easier time trying to get a shot. They make it look easy. Like, man, how'd the hole open up so much? Oh, they play the replay. Oh, he had 3 guys sealing their men off perfectly or spreading the floor.
Yeah, bro. And they were killing because they were running the offense so well. They were getting drives and they were killing like the first help side.
Yeah.
Just, you're going to be the one helping. I'm going straight to your guy.
Yep.
Wherever your guy is, I'm finding him. And that happens so many times for dunks, for threes.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even really want to shit on Florida State because they did play bad and they started off bad.
Yeah. Which
kind of put them in like a uphill climb that they never really made.
Yeah.
But I will say there was a point, I told you they got soft at one point.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point when they were getting stops but Michigan State was all over the offensive glass.
Yeah.
And it would be like 2 Michigan players versus 3 to 4 Florida State players, and they're like tapping it off the fucking glass, getting multiple chances.
Yep.
It can't happen.
No, can't.
And Michigan is not, they don't got a Timmy. They don't have the Crudwig from Loyola Chicago.
Right.
Or Mobley. Like,
They're
big, but they're not like, oh my God, they're too big.
Right.
You can't, especially a team that's considered athletic.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get rebounds better than that.
Yeah, and that's all I saw was athleticism today. Honestly, that's it. And they have
really low IQ.
They have plenty of athleticism, but yeah, the IQ is just not there. I mean, Scotty Barnes, they think is going to go top 5. He's a specimen, physical specimen, but he looks young. He just looks young.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Suggs. I'm seeing a lot of like NBA potential guys that I hope stay another year.
Mm-hmm.
Suggs is definitely one of them. I would definitely say for this guy, Scotty Barnes, he's probably another 2 years.
Yeah.
Before obviously he's an athlete, so if he averages like 15 plus next year, he's coming out. Yeah. But just to get his skills right, I would say 2 years.
That's fair. I it's tough for me with Suggs because with Gonzaga, I'm not sure if Suggs does anything else next year. I think he could get better. I would like to see his scoring get a little bit better, but his role will not change. That's the only thing that kind of sucks about teams like Gonzaga.
That's fair. Yeah.
There's really no room for him to be any different as a player. But I mean, like you said, Barnes could go from whatever he's averaging. He could probably double it next year for Florida State, for Hamilton. That's the kind of game they play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought like it looked bad in the second half. Mm-hmm. They tried a lot of like random shit to try to throw Michigan off. And it's just like it'll work for like a play or two.
Yeah.
And then Michigan like runs like a perfect play and it's layup, dunk, wide open shot.
Yep.
And then Michigan was just more disciplined. Yeah, they tried to like press and speed them up. Never worked.
Yep.
And Michigan did a really good job. Like they would break the press through their big man. Mm-hmm. Even though he really wouldn't dribble, he would just be like an outlet to just get the ball in.
Right.
But Michigan did everything better.
Yeah. Yeah, Michigan, man. Shout out to Juwan Howard. He's killing it. They look great. They look so disciplined. Like, I don't know what he does to them in practice. Like, they look like they like doing everything right. That's the other thing. Like, there's sometimes teams like Florida State where they'll execute the play, but it looks uncomfortable. And with Michigan, their execution just looked like it was so natural for everybody. The extra pass looked natural. Like they were just so ready to hit the open guy.
Yeah, just to compare it to the game before, both Creighton and Gonzaga have plays where I'm like, you could have, like, he was open. You could have hit that guy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Michigan, and I didn't stop watching until about like 3 minutes left, never missed an opportunity for that.
Yep.
Every time like that, you need that one extra pass from an open shot to a wide open shot.
Yep.
They made it.
Yeah.
I felt bad. Like, again, I felt bad for Florida State. I'm like, look, you're not playing well, but Michigan is like flawless.
Mm-hmm.
So I really don't know how Florida State could have won this game. They could have kept it closer a lot of ways, but
yeah,
it was just not meant to be for them today.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Michigan moves on. So we still have 3 out of the 4 number 1 seeds.
Yes.
So
hey, huge news. Tanner Morgan from Eastern Washington, the one that lit up Kansas.
Yeah.
Or Mays, not Morgan.
Mays?
Tanner Mays?
Yeah, Mays. I think it's Mays. Yeah.
Is a transfer.
He's transferring?
Yeah, he's entering the transfer portal. Officially announced today. I wonder. I'm curious if he goes to like I could see him thriving at Villanova.
Yeah.
And but after,
these guys who take over in the small schools, they should look to transfer because their stock is up. Way up.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's it for college basketball.
Okay. Yeah. We got a lot of Woj news to talk about.
The trade deadline was quite eventful.
Very eventful. Do you want to go at like what order you want to go? Prioritize biggest impact or what?
Let's go. Let's talk about all the moves we like.
Okay.
And then all the moves we don't like.
Okay. We may not have the same, but okay. I'm down with that.
Okay. I'm curious where we differ.
All right.
We'll definitely deep dive the stuff we differ on.
Right.
But I'm thinking I got to start with Boston. Boston was by far the team I wanted to talk about the most.
I would probably say we talk about Boston more than any other team. I want
lately.
No, I think all the time. Well, I mean, like this, as far as this season and in the last season,
you might be right. Yeah,
even in the last season, playoffs.
I think we did deep dive them a lot in the playoffs,
and it's because It's because me and you, we both feel like they're close and they're competitive and they're fun to watch in a lot of ways. So we don't talk about them because we're necessarily fans. We talk about them because you and I. And this is what I'm talking to the listeners now, not just you, but we're fans of competition, right? Like we don't want a sweep every playoffs, every series. So when we see a team
I like getting surprised.
Yeah, when we see a team like Boston, we support because we think they can be competitive. That's all. And we get upset when they're not competitive. And it's not because we're fans. It's because we like competition.
Yeah.
I can care less after the championship. I don't think about Boston. But while they're playing for it, I'm like, yeah, let's go. Because I don't think the Lakers and a lot of other teams would have been competitive. I thought the Boston Lakers series would be. That's all. I just want to say that disclaimer real quick.
That's fair. I mean, my thing is just I just think they've been the closest for the longest amount of time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how many conference finals appearances are we talking about now? Like 3, 4?
3, I think.
Over the last 4 or 5 years?
Since Kyrie got there. So, yeah.
I mean,
well, Isaiah, did he take them to the conference finals?
No.
The Raptors made it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so but basically since Kyrie has gotten there, conference finals every year.
All right, so let's talk about their roster adjustment.
Okay.
Picked up Fournier.
We've been talking about it for 2 years. They needed more wings. They got it. A very good scoring wing. A nice combo wing too. I mean, Fournier isn't a bad play initiator. He has pretty good size that he's not gonna always get exposed if he's at the 3 for some reason. Which he really doesn't have to be on Boston, but he's a good combo guard, I would say.
I think he's the perfect fit for them.
Absolutely.
Like he gives them like it's very similar to what I thought Gordon Hayward could do for them and never really did to his full potential.
And what's that?
Which is like similar to what you said. He's like a good combo guard.
Mm-hmm.
And now they have a guy where it's another guy who I'm comfortable leading me in scoring.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not the star player.
Right.
We're not going to play through him all night.
Right.
But we'll feed him the ball if he's hitting and if he's making plays.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Fournier is perfect for that.
You know who? This is just a random name to throw out. You remember Omri Caspi?
Yeah.
Remember he had those like 3 fire years in Sacramento, or maybe 2.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 2, but okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
I think I'm not comparing Fournier to him, but I'm saying Caspi would randomly all of a sudden have like 28 one night, but he could have 11 and the team would still be doing fine. And that's because they had a good team. No, I'm not. There's a lot of other players I could throw out. I just wanted to mention Caspi as an appreciation.
Hey, shout out to Omri Caspi, man. I liked him as a bench player.
That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Omri.
Yo, his rainbows used to make me so mad. His arc was always so crazy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But yeah, man, Fournier he's that random big game guy, and it's fine. It will be just fine. They don't lose anything because he doesn't take bad shots.
Exactly.
Very efficient bench scorer.
And Fournier, I don't have to worry about him like fitting with Tatum and Brown.
No.
Because you see, Fournier is perfectly comfortable not being involved at all when other guys are going off.
Yeah, he can be passive, or if you need him, he'll take over.
He's just he's a meaningful threat.
Yep.
We always talk about Boston's depth gets like cut at like 5 to 7.
Yeah.
And this is just another guy who, if you don't guard him, he's getting 30.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So honestly, to me, I was hoping they'd be done when they made that move, but they were not. I was so happy, man. Again, I think Fournier is a perfect fit.
Yeah.
I was ready to come on here after seeing that. Like, yes, Boston. Yes, this is what I wanted. Like, you're good.
Danny Ainge is so dumb, man. I'm sorry. Okay, so right after that, they made the more important trade, which was trading Daniel Theis to the Bulls for Mo Wagner. Shout out to Michigan.
Shout out to his brother, I think, is playing right now. Or like just played.
Yep.
Played well too.
Yep.
This is tough for me, man. Go ahead.
I don't know if this was because they were going to try to get Drummond, because they did meet with Drummond, and big L there. I don't think Aldridge was ever an option for Boston.
I didn't want him there anyway.
And Aldridge, man, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But they got nothing other than Mo Wagner. I don't know if like they're committing to Tristan Thompson as a starting center.
I hope not. I don't think they are. I was
just sure they would add depth to their bigs and not, unless, they still barely play Taco Fall. Grant Williams is still getting exposed night in, night out. I don't know, man. I don't know why they did this. Shout out to the Bulls, though.
We'll talk about the Bulls for sure. But so my initial reaction when Theis was traded for Wagner was like, Boston, you screwed it all up.
Yeah.
You pretty much maximized your wing potential and you threw away your front court.
Threw it in the trash.
Because Theis looks like he's not good, but he is huge for them.
Absolutely.
He is huge. His discipline, being a help big man.
Yeah.
He is a huge reason why they could strap and make it look so easy.
He stretches the floor. He goes for every block.
High IQ.
And that's the other thing. I can't stress enough to NBA teams, for NBA teams, having someone who goes for every block. They don't have to block every shot. I'm cool with you fouling out sometimes, but go for the block.
Yes.
You can't just, Hassan Whiteside either blocks everything or blocks absolutely nothing. And when he blocks absolutely nothing, he looks like he doesn't deserve to be in the league. That's the same thing with Dwight. Dwight was the best defensive big man, arguably ever at one point to some people's eyes because he was so young and he was blocking everything. And then he just decided to stop blocking shots for a couple of years. And you saw what happened. He was
because he was like spending countless hours with Hakeem. So he's like, yo, y'all got to see this, all these moves I'm working on.
And now he
I just want you to block.
And now he does no moves. They're all gone.
Right.
And then, you wonder why these championship teams have had these duds of centers on paper. But Birdman was on the team for a reason.
Joel Anthony wouldn't block everything, but he tried to take every charge possible.
He was in the way every time someone came to the basket. Birdman was going for everything. Are you dunking it? I'm going for it.
Bro, they got everything. Chris Bosh doing that by towards the end of their run.
Yeah. Yep.
Haslam was trying to do it the whole Battier, obviously.
Yes.
But you look at the Warriors, Looney,
Pachulia was on the team just to go for every single thing that came in the paint. JaVale McGee, the first year,
Ezeli
went for everything. Ezeli goes for everything, and that's a championship thing.
Yes,
and
100%.
That was Dwight's role last year. That's why he has a ring.
Yep.
That's why JaVale McGee has another ring. And we see why Bam is as good as he is. He's blocking dunks. He blocks a dunk like every game. Jared Allen, so valuable. Everybody wanted Jared Allen when the Nets were talking about trading him because that's not a common thing. It's a rarity to find someone like that who will go for every block.
Yep.
And you just threw one away. Thompson doesn't go for anything.
Thompson's not even the rebounding machine he used to be.
I don't know what happened, man.
He looks easier to box out. He used to be one of those small bigs who just always by the ball.
He thinks he's Jared Sullinger now.
He tries to make moves from up top, do all these extra spins.
These jab steps. I hate when centers jab step. Dude, we're the same speed. You don't have that big of a quickness advantage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then I watched them. Okay, again, my first reaction was yo, you screwed up your whole front court.
Mm-hmm.
Then I watched Friday's game.
Mm-hmm.
And I remembered a person that we just forgot, as a matter of fact, Robert Williams.
Great shot blocker. He goes for everything most of the time.
And this is what, again, obviously one game I can't be fully confident because it could have been a fluke, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Milwaukee is Milwaukee. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But they've committed to Robert Williams as their starting center.
Rookie contract, right? Still?
I believe so.
He gives them space to get something in the summer if they wanted to.
Yes.
And I didn't forget about him because I figured they were committing to him, but we haven't seen the commitment on the court much. And like you said, it's one game so far. But
again, it looked good because he did a good job not fouling.
Yeah.
Theis couldn't even do that, so I don't know if that's something they could continue.
Right. What about Theis's floor spacing? Do you think that was important?
It was, but Williams gives them more of a lob inside dunk layup presence,
which is what the league is going towards.
Right.
Yeah.
And that Capella type of role.
Yep. Capella, DeAndre.
Yes. And I just think Williams in the starting lineup actually fits a lot better for them.
You think so?
Yes, because they come out and we know they're gonna. The first thought is either Kemba's getting off, Tatum's getting off, or Brown's getting off.
Right. Or 2 or 3.
Now maybe Fournier will jump in there a couple nights.
Mm-hmm. Or Smart.
Marcus Smart like forces his way in there a lot of nights.
Yeah.
He did on Friday as well, by the way. But
yeah.
Dude, Robert Williams he's got a lot of energy.
Oh yeah.
And I think he gets up and down a lot better than Theis does.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Again, he's got more of more potential athletically.
Mm-hmm.
And he gives them like an inside presence. A lot of times they'll have, you remember watching them against Miami? They're playing the zone and everybody's open to shoot, so they shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody needs to like only take layups when that's going on, especially when you're not making those shots.
Mm-hmm. You think Theis got to the Ibaka syndrome where he found out he can kind of shoot a little bit, so he just started jacking?
No, I think it was always Theis's game, again, for better or worse.
Uh-huh.
But like I don't want my starting center to take mostly jumpers.
Right.
And there was a lot of game, especially with the now your wing talent is complete. You're good.
Mm-hmm.
So now, again, I need a center who's doing all the blocking, flying for everything. Only problem is, as you mentioned, Taco Fall or Mo Wagner. Tristan Thompson, I've given up on because he just looks bad. He looks fat. He looks lazy.
Like I said, Jared Sullinger.
And like for him to look lazy to me is like a get him out of the league offense.
Because that's the opposite of his game.
Exactly. His whole game is energy. So you're playing lazy, you're literally useless.
Because he used to be a lob guy too. And that I haven't seen him catch a lob more than like one in a game since he left the Cavs.
Right. And now Taco Fall defensively is not ready.
Mm-hmm.
And Mo Wagner defensively is not ready.
Mo Wagner's not ready on either end to me.
That's fair. I mean, he can score points, but if you don't guard him,
he can score points, but he's not going to get enough shots for him to.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
I know Robert Williams is going to get in foul trouble.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my question is. What happens when that happens?
See, and that was my issue too. Most of these other teams are too deep with the guys we're talking about. Obviously, Claxton has become basically what Robert Williams does on the Nets. They're too deep, and now they got Aldridge and Blake. So their front court is like 4 deep. I'll say 3.5 deep. I'll give Aldridge a half. Lakers are obviously 4 deep. The level of talent they're going to play, they're going to need more than just one solid big.
But like that's the thing. Even with Theis, they were lacking in that department.
But Robert Williams was the backup for Theis, and they still had Thompson. 3 is better than 1, and I mean, and Thompson, the way they were playing Thompson, the little short spurts, he was coming in and not, being bad. I don't know if I want him playing 2 quarters worth of time.
I don't know, man. Again, this is one game example, so I don't know. But I really liked how they came out with Robert Williams as a starter.
We'll see. I mean,
and I'm hoping again. The backup bigs are my concern, but that's a better problem than Grant Williams is the 6th fucking man.
Yeah, I'm really glad that's over.
They gotta give up on him as like this defender. Like, please. Marcus Smart is there. Like, Marcus Smart is showing you what vicious defense looks like.
Yeah.
Grant Williams is he's not soaking in the knowledge.
No, he's not.
He's just thick. Like,
yeah, that's it.
He's not athletic. Doesn't do anything on offense. He like pretends to have IQ, but every time he has to make a quick decision, he looks bad.
Yeah, he does pretend to have IQ. Yeah, he does.
I hate to roast him, but like the more I watch him, the more I hate seeing him out there.
Yeah,
for so many minutes.
That's the thing. I was gonna say I don't hate him being on the court at all. Like I'm not hating like that, but he just plays way too long. That's it. His minutes is way too high. He needs 10 minutes sliced out of his, out of the rotation for him. That's it.
Just Friday, man, their rotation looked cleaner, and Fournier didn't even play.
You want to talk about the two big men that are available?
I mean, does Drummond count, or are you thinking of somebody else?
Cousins and Gorgie Jang is getting bought out.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, my faith in Boston, like picking up what they need off the couch, is non-existent.
I can't believe Gerald Green is still at home. I really can't, dude. Like he played so well the last 2 years. Like I thought he proved that he was, I won't say back, but NBA caliber. And he's just home asleep.
Like every time I watched him in Houston, because before a lot of his problems were he can't guard a soul.
Right.
But like in Houston, he made effort to play defense.
He did.
He wasn't getting picked. Obviously the stars could still pick on him whenever they want.
Right.
But he wasn't getting picked on by like role players and like the catch and shoot guys.
Right.
I really don't get it.
And Boston is a perfect team for him because he wouldn't have to play anyone he couldn't guard. Like Grant Williams comes in and he has to be on somebody that he can't check. But you have Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. They can guard someone that they would be guarding who Gerald Green couldn't check at his position, is what I'm saying. So, but but I think that them losing out on Drummond, the fact that they tried to get Drummond tells me that they still wanted another center.
Yes.
So
I'll say they improved slightly because Fournier's scoring is such a huge boost, I think.
Yeah.
But if they get a center, they're good.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. I agree. They're set.
Now it's just got to perform, got to, Brad Stevens, you got to make it work.
Yeah.
But to me, they can overcome this problem at least through the Eastern Conference.
Okay.
They're not beating the Lakers with Davis and Drummond.
Right.
I think Philly will give them a really hard time with Embiid, but
yeah.
Besides that, I don't know. Like I don't think Bam, the way Bam plays, he's not gonna dominate in such a way where like you can't overcome that.
Yeah, he doesn't play one-on-one enough for
right, but
to be a problem.
He did attack Theis quite a bit last year.
Theis brought that on himself, though.
You remember that 1/3 quarter where Bam just started like ISOing on top of the key on him all the time?
Yeah. I think it was because Theis would foul every time.
Yeah, he was just hack boxing out there. Tyson foul when like he'd force a bad shot and still foul. Like the worst kind of foul there is to me.
Yep.
But yeah, man, I don't know if their wing scoring can overcome their inability to protect the basket. Only if Robert Williams could be a 35-minute guy. And
you're saying
I don't know if he could be that.
You're saying specifically on the Lakers or just in general?
Just in general.
Yeah, okay.
Because again, like I said, Bam is not a dominating scoring guy, but he dominated them for stretches all because of their inability to stop him.
Who's guarding Julius Randle if they make it to the, if they play against each other?
Who's guarding Jaylen Brown?
No, I'm only talking about for the bigs. Is it Big Garden Randall or is Jaylen Brown?
I'll let Tristan Thompson get worked for a while. No, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to start. I'm assuming they might even start Fournier, to be honest.
And move Smart back to the bench? I don't think Smart's going back to the bench.
I don't know. They can't start Kemba and Marcus, can they? Even though they did it.
That's what they've been doing. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Smart's going back. It's got to be Kemba and Smart.
Kemba going to the bench might be kind of wild.
They can't move Kemba to the
I know.
That would be crazy.
You're right. But he's honestly, man, if of all the star guards, I think Kemba, you could do it with Kemba.
I don't know. It just sounds blasphemous, I guess.
That's fair, but he's been hurt his entire Boston tenure. He's practically been hurt.
Yeah.
So he's missing all this time. I think moving him to the bench, you shrink his minutes. He gets to play against backups, so he gets to eat.
Well, that's the thing. I think Kemba starting gives them like more freedom to decide what their adjustment is. Because Kemba is not a good adjustment. Like, I don't see in the game they're getting beat and like, yo, we need to put Kemba in the game. And like that helps necessarily. Like if you're already getting beat.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like right. I think Kemba is like, okay, we're getting beat. We can pinpoint why. Oh, Kemba's too small. So let's put Fournier in and, go at Marcus or something like that. But I don't know. I don't know if that's for every team. I just think for Boston specifically. They let T go too, by the way. We didn't say that. So.
Yeah. Again, I think Fournier makes up for a lot of the little things they lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dude, Javonte Green, is that right?
Yeah.
Just him not playing on Friday was a plus. I'm not joking.
Did Aaron Nesmith play?
No, not that I noticed.
That's a plus too, man.
Ojale not being out there.
I like Ojale.
Ojale was starting to kind of look like he fit a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe I spoke too soon on Ojale, but
he has nights where he looks like he's a good fit. He does have some nights, but
he has moments. I'm not giving him nights. I've never seen 48 minutes of him looking like a good fit. Never.
Oh, I've seen him play, all his 12 minutes of the game and him play a good 12 minutes. And that's it. And he always has over.
He always has like a one bad play. One really bad. One like poster that he doesn't go up strong or like a dribble that he shouldn't even have taken, that kind of thing.
Or sometimes he tries to set a charge and like gets dunked on, gets laid out and it's a block and foul.
All right, but let's talk about the other teams because we got stuck on Boston, of course.
Okay, Houston, Oladipo to Miami. What do you think? Quick reaction, rapid fire.
I think Miami's a great fit for Miami because they don't need him to be great.
Mm-hmm.
They really just need him to honestly, all he's got to do is kind of be what Tyler Herro is for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where this randomly dynamic playmaker scorer.
Yeah.
That's really it.
Ball handling scorer, yeah.
Yeah, and I would have preferred them getting somebody who could sneak in at point guard. Oladipo can't really do that.
He'll try.
And I don't know. I haven't seen much of Oladipo, and what I saw in Houston, I think I only saw him once or twice in Houston and didn't really see much.
Yeah.
So he's just been out for such a while. I'm really don't know.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like how we were saying about Blake.
But Miami doesn't play that just lazy shit. If he's out there just toxic or not playing up to their standards,
mm-hmm.
they're sitting his ass.
That's the tough part. I don't know if he's gonna keep the two-way energy that the rest of the Miami players have, which is, we're going to be energy on defense and transfer that to the offensive end. Like, I feel like their energy usually does start on the defensive end. And Oladipo is like the opposite. Like, Oladipo is hot, and all of a sudden he's strapping because he's hot on offense. Like, he is going to start killing you now. So I don't know if he does that, plays into their energy way for the whole night. That's the only thing.
I just think it's Oladipo's last chance to show that, like, the dysfunction hasn't centered around him.
Yeah, it is.
There's a number of, Indiana was rough when him getting out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to LeVert, by the way. He's back balling.
Yep.
But he got to Houston, and as soon as they started losing as soon as he got there.
Yeah.
And he made there was no Wall we could see was constantly frustrated.
Yeah.
Oladipo was just there.
Yep.
So I'm curious where his head's at. If he could feast off of like Jimmy Butler's leadership.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't if you can't respond to Jimmy Butler's leadership, I question your character at that point.
Yeah.
So this is his last chance to me. Like, really, Miami's a perfect situation where you don't have to do too much.
Right.
They'll fit around the ways you contribute. So that's all you got to do.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I expect Avery Bradley to be released by Houston. Is that fair to say?
Yeah,
Maybe not right away, but eventually.
Bradley, I don't know what the hell is wrong with Bradley. Like, he
go back to Boston.
That'd be a good pickup, but Bradley, why does he, like, normal players, especially guards, like, they'll be hot for a couple games, cold for a couple games.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have like a hot night followed by cold games, maybe the opposite. I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Bradley, like, has a good year or a good 2 years, and then he's like trash for a year or two.
Yeah. That's been his career, just about.
Exactly. And I don't know if it's something about the way he shoots, but like, he just has years where he looks like he can't shoot at all.
Yeah.
And then, like, you remember him before the season got shut down by COVID? He torched the Clippers like the weekend before it got shut down.
What team was he on?
The Lakers.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He did.
Prior to the season getting shut down, he
looked like a perfect fit for them.
Exactly. He was making so many threes and getting so many good ones.
Yeah.
But then, like, he goes to Detroit, and it's not even that you're like, Detroit's not good. You're not making shots.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Langston Galloway isn't that good, but he found a way to make shots in Detroit.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be you're switching teams. Now your jump shot's broke. That makes no sense to me.
Right. Yeah.
So as far as like what Houston does with him, I don't even think it's a good pickup for Boston, to be honest.
If they picked up Bradley?
Yeah, I mean, I know he's going to defend, but the way he defends at his size doesn't have the same impact it used to.
Right.
Because he's not like a like Marcus Smart is with that.
The last time he was with Marcus Smart, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, Boston, I think Boston has had like my favorite collection of players over the last 6 years. Like, if I put all their players that have ever been on their roster for the last 6 years, Boston might be my favorite out of all of them. Because, I mean, and they lose guys so easily. And when I say lose, I mean they get traded or waived or don't pick them back up, whatever. But to think they had Crowder, Bradley, Terry Rozier, who's eating again, Morris, Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
Kyrie, obviously. It's crazy, man.
It
Isaiah.
Is. You might be right. They might. I'm trying to think of like a organization whose roster I like better over the last 6 years.
Yeah, Horford.
Maybe Miami, but probably not.
Miami hasn't changed that much.
Yeah, Boston has changed a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I don't think Bradley's a meaningful pickup for anybody at this point.
Yeah, I don't think he helps any contenders. That's for sure. Rondo to the Clippers, Lou to Atlanta.
Where do you want to start with that?
Which one do you like better?
Oh, Lou to to the Hawks.
Me too. So let's start there.
I just with Lou Williams, he's such a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
You could bring in Lou Williams, and now I don't really have to ask about how your bench impacts the game,
right?
Because Lou Williams will take care of it.
Yep.
And that I think him being kind of remotivated by the Clippers getting rid of him, which I mean he's a Clipper GOAT, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I just think him being remotivated, him being with like a young up and coming group of guys, and his kind of like his approach to the game, I think is going to rub off in a good way on everybody there.
I think so too.
Because he's such a worker, but it's so casual, it's so simple.
Yep.
I just think he's gonna have so much more impact to me than Rondo like ever really could.
Rondo was averaging 3.9 points a game for Atlanta.
I just to roast his PPG like that. Come on, man.
I'm just saying when you say
that sounds about right. To be honest, you know.
Nah, I looked it up because my friend was asking me, like, yo, you think my friend he was born in Atlanta. He's a big Hawks fan. He's like, yo, you think that was a good trade? I kind of liked what Rondo was doing for us leadership-wise. I'm like, bro, Lou's averaging more than 3.9 points a game. So it really doesn't matter. And the thing is, Rondo is coming in, you know, Trey was second in assists last year in the league. Losing Rondo does nothing.
Nothing.
You still have the best passer, arguably the best passer in the league. Only LeBron was ahead of him, but look what LeBron had on his roster. So
Rondo, he fools us. Like every time he turns into playoff Rondo, he fools us.
But Rondo doesn't want to play in the regular season at all.
But my thing is, like Rondo, like he playing well makes it seem like he fits the team better than he actually does.
You mean in the playoffs?
Yeah, because like his dominance is so individual to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's him being outsmarting everybody on the court.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, I just don't think the Hawks needed that.
Right.
And admittedly, I was wrong. I thought he would kind of mentor a lot of those guys, but that didn't really happen.
He didn't play.
In hindsight, he's never really been a good mentor.
He's never had to be, which is the other thing. Like he's never been in the position where him mentoring would have helped anybody, even if he did. Because a lot of times he was the guy. Like, I mean, now who was the backup for him in Dallas or Chicago? Like there was no
Chicago. I have no clue.
That's what I'm saying. It's like nobody for him to really mentor. So he's never. I won't say he's never chose to be, but he's never been in the position where his mentoring was like possibly could have helped the team further on. And now he is that old guy. But I mean, Rondo, I'm not going to say he fakes injuries, but Rondo has all these mysterious injuries all season until the playoffs every year. Now since he left Dallas. And we know he has this weird thing with coaches. He is really picky with the coaches. So I don't know. I think Lou coming to Atlanta immediately gives them more size at the guard. It gives them another scorer at the guard. So I think they don't have to switch the plays all the way up when Trey comes out the game. It's obviously Trey is the number one option for a lot of their plays. Lou could be the number one option for the same plays.
But Trey was the only guy they could play through full time.
Right.
Now you have another guy. I honestly, I think Lou Williams being there is only going to make a lot of those younger, like figuring out their role guys, like Reddish, like DeAndre Hunter, like Huerter, all those guys who sometimes are they're like weird out there.
Yeah.
That's not going to be happening as much because Lou Williams is controlling what's going on.
Yep.
And you think John Collins was feasting with Trae Young?
Oh yeah. Dude. Lou, with the way Lou gets to the basket, you saw
Montrezl was averaging like 15 just off of Lou last year.
Yeah.
So Collins next year his stats might be insane next year, honestly.
I hope Lou stays longer, man. I think the Clippers team sucks so much heart out of Lou, honestly. I mean, the way he was talking in the interview about possibly retiring because of the trade, I think honestly,
this
team is like traumatic.
I think the fact that it's Atlanta saved him.
It could save him and also be like, man, I'm back home. Like, finally,
chilling.
I take my money.
City every other night. It's easy.
Yeah, I already live here. My girl, whatever, they're here, so I'm good. And I can get my money in Atlanta. I'm cool.
Nah, I don't really doubt. I don't doubt he's got that Hooper like gene in him.
He does.
So I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I still think he's gonna be locked into like play.
I think he is too. I was just saying I understand both sides. I think he will be ready to play and want to play, and I think this team, the way they're moving, I think Lou likes being the underdog, and this team is the underdog. I think that's his thing. So I think he'll be happy there. I do.
But let's talk about the flip side. The Clippers got what they wanted. Whole basketball culture has been screaming at them to get a point guard. And like a typical bad organization, they threw away their bench explosiveness.
Their second, the second one that they threw away. Third, even. I mean, I think
to get a point guard.
Yeah. So, I mean, you think Rondo is the one for them?
No.
Okay. Say your reason first. I'll say my reason. I agree, though.
I think it's a safe bet at this point. Like you're very, very aggressive sometimes with your Durant hate.
Yeah.
It's very just blatant. Like you acknowledge it a lot of times before you say it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. I think I'm the same way with Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
I think they needed a point guard, like a quiet playmaking point guard. I thought Lonzo would have been a perfect fit for them. Because he takes he only takes good shots.
Yeah.
And he's not really like a Hall of Fame passer, but he just looks for guys.
Yeah.
They don't need what Rondo does.
No, they don't.
Rondo, and again, I keep going back, dude. Every time they look good, they move the shit out of the ball.
Right.
Without a point guard out there.
Right.
Rondo doesn't encourage everybody to move the ball.
No, he doesn't.
Rondo's a control freak. I'll get you guys the ball. I'll spread it out. I'll find you.
Let me put it this way for you, because I completely agree with your point. The problem, one reason why it's so hard to find the right point guard for LeBron James is because LeBron James leads the league in assists. His pass is supposed to be the assist. Like, there's no extra pass. If LeBron passes it to you, you're supposed to score. That's why for another point guard to be out there with LeBron, it's like, why am I here? It's impossible for anyone to have more assists than LeBron on LeBron's team. It's impossible. I mean, like, other than like D Wade, because LeBron wasn't like the point guard then. But since then, you can't do it. You can't average more because LeBron he's the next pass person. There's no like, oh, pass it and pass it again. And Rondo is like the ultimate point guard that if I'm passing it to you, it's because I want you to shoot it. There's no other reason. I'm not passing it to you because you're open and someone else is. Nah, I'm passing it to you. That's supposed to be an assist when I pass it to you. He only passes assists. That's it.
That's why I needed a more low-key point guard.
Right.
I needed somebody to come in and fit into the ball movement. Yep. If anything, raise the ball movement up a notch.
Right.
Lowry would have been perfect.
Yep.
Because Lowry is okay with not controlling the offense.
And Lowry is okay with being the offense. Like, it's either one. The other thing is, right now, if Kawhi and PG are out, who's scoring for them with Rondo in the game?
That's the other thing. Rondo is big on needing like an inside dominating center to thrive with his assists.
Yeah. Or someone else that will handle the ball and get
Rondo's
a bucket.
Peak of his playing time, he had either Kevin Garnett or last year he had Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I've never seen Rondo better than when he had those two guys.
Right.
What big is he feeding on the Clippers? Zubac?
No.
He's getting Zubac who can't catch shit. He's getting him like, what, 2 extra layups?
Ibaka won't stay inside.
Ibaka is going to float. Morris apparently is a 3-point specialist. So is Patrick Patterson. I haven't seen Patrick Patterson in a layup in years.
Me either. I haven't seen him in the key in years.
That's my thing with this team. Like, they don't understand. They seem to not understand what makes them good.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, like Ty Lue, I know Ty Lue's not that dumb. I know for a fact Doc Rivers ain't that dumb.
On the flip side, man, and this is the part that I don't think a lot of people are talking about, they're not going to let Rondo control the game. Kawhi Leonard's not letting Rondo control the game.
That's ding, ding, ding. The main point of the story.
Because right now, in my opinion, Paul George should already be controlling the game. Because the few times where I see Paul George really go off and then look good is when he has the ball in his hands every other time down court. And he's Ray Allen, like he said, right now. And Kawhi has the ball in his hands every time down court, and all it does is lead to someone trying to shoot a buzzer beater for the shot clock, or Kawhi forcing a shot. It's 2 options. So when Rondo's out there, I don't see it. I don't see Rondo being the guy that changes that at all.
The problem is Kawhi's play style is very slow.
It is.
And Rondo is a guy who pushes the tempo, but with like it's not gonna mesh with Kawhi Leonard like needing his touches. And we both mentioned on here before, we don't see them get fast breaks. We don't understand.
No. I don't understand why. When's the last time you've seen like, I haven't seen Paul George even like give a windmill this year.
Dude, how when they came together, PG, Kawhi, holy shit, defensive, lockdown.
Yeah.
How have I never seen them go 2-on-1 or like a 2-on-2 fast break? I've never once in my life seen that.
I've never seen it. I've only seen very few breakaways from them. Very few. Yeah.
In to your point, man, they're at their best. Not even when they feed or like make Paul George create, just playing through a guy who knows either I'm getting a bucket or we're doing like something different.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard, it kills all momentum they have when he plays well.
Kawhi always plays like the team needs him. That's like the weirdest. I know that I don't mean that in like the most literal sense. I mean, he plays like the team needs him to get a bucket every time he has the ball. Like they don't need, like it could be first quarter. He has the ball like it's the last shot of the game. Like he has to go get it. He has to run the shot clock down. You know what I'm saying? Every possession. I never get that.
Exactly. And the problem, Kawhi slows down the pace to such an extent that they're overrated, or at this point, not even overrated. Their bad defense is put on notice.
Yeah.
Rondo, dude, that's all I talked about in the playoffs last year. Like, damn, Rondo can't guard a soul.
Yeah.
Rondo does like the old guy at the gym thing of like, I'll just let my guy score and I'll take off.
Right.
Like, hurry up, inbound it quickly. I'll just take off. Maybe we'll get a fast break.
Yeah, or I'll make my guy, take a tough drive and you guys deal with it because I'm already up court. Let's push it.
But the Clippers, they've shown now for their entire tenure, they can't guard guards.
Right.
And Rondo is only going to make that worse.
Yep.
Again, to start the year, I thought Rondo was the solution, especially prior to the year.
Mm-hmm.
But they've shown me that they know how to move the fucking ball.
Yeah.
The only thing that stands in their way is not Pandemic P. It's not getting rid of Montrezl or even Lou. It's Kawhi Leonard not wanting to play team basketball.
Yep.
So Rondo's probably going to make that worse, in my opinion.
How many more years do you think the Clippers have as the Clippers duo has before they make a move? You think Paul George will retire a Clipper or Kawhi, either of them?
No.
How many years do you think?
They're weak. I don't want to say, because I think 2 this year and 1 other year.
Okay.
But the thing is, if they get embarrassed again, they're a weak organization.
If they don't blow it up,
we see it. I mean, another thing I was going to say is I don't mind you getting Rondo. I just didn't want you to give up Lou Williams to get Rondo.
Good point.
And that's exactly what they gave up. But anyway,
but I wouldn't have let Rondo go for anybody else if I'm Atlanta.
Oh, Atlanta, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. If they wanted, I'm saying if they wanted Rondo and they didn't give me Lou Williams, I guess I'm keeping Rondo this year.
I would have done the same thing. No, that's just good business move.
And 2 picks they got.
Yeah. I just, again, to me, it starts and stops with Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
In him, I don't know who's more to blame for him and Paul George not having chemistry, but I've seen Paul George have chemistry with other people.
Yeah, me too.
Paul George had chemistry with Russell Westbrook.
He did.
Paul George had chemistry with people in Indiana.
Yeah, and the offense ran through him and it looked great.
Right.
And they look like I've never seen. Every time the offense has ran through Paul George, they've looked like a contender to me. Every team he's been on, except for the Clippers.
And he's a huge part. When they move the ball well, he's a huge part of them being an elite offensive team.
Yep.
And
he's a decent second pass guy. Like it's like when he does it and keeps doing it, he gets better and better at it. But yeah.
And his especially when he's scoring at an elite level, it opens up their ball movement a lot.
Yeah, it does.
But again, this team just constantly shows me that they They're not a disciplined, they're not a well-run organization.
Is Kawhi Leonard the most overrated player in the league?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because of he's ranked, he's like, to people, he's like a lock for top 5.
Right.
I told you as soon as we came out the playoffs, nah.
I mean, you know how he's been up there on my hate list since he left San Antonio.
I know you would see what I'm saying, but it's again, I just think Rondo and Kawhi Leonard, just picturing that, it just looks bad to me.
And Kawhi Leonard never gets open for the ball. I don't know why, because he used to, obviously, in San Antonio, that was his thing, because he was, like I said, a role player, great role player. But when he got open, it worked. He had that nice little backdoor play they had for him. He had like a nice down screen where he'd come up from the block and come up to the top of the key. He'd be wide open.
Yep.
And now it's like if someone else has the ball and you don't just give it to Kawhi, like if he can't just come get it from you, take it from you. I never see Kawhi like, come around picks and try to get open hard for like a shot. He just gets open to play one-on-one.
Yeah, you know another funny thing I noticed? Kawhi Leonard, bro, he treats Reggie Jackson kind of like Kobe treated Smush Parker. Where like Reggie
Jackson is way better than Smush Parker.
Way better. But the thing is, like, he's playing like trash, but it's like everything that's going wrong for the team, it's your fault, Reggie.
He does do that, yeah.
Bro, every time Reggie can't feed him the ball, like Reggie, like he shows emotion.
Yeah, he acts like Reggie's incompetent.
Yeah, he's got 2 pet peeves: when Reggie can't play right, and when Zubac can't catch the ball.
Right.
When one of those 2 things happens, he's not a robot anymore.
Yep. And if Paul George takes a shot where Kawhi was asking for the ball, open or not, if he asks for it, like,
yeah, he's a little unhappy. You can just see it.
Yeah,
he'll be a little extra lazy on defense that next play.
He's one of those guys that will, like, if they're open, he puts his hands up, and when you shoot it, like he runs down court with his hands still up.
Oh yeah,
so, like, it runs down court like that the whole time.
I hate how split he is from like the concept of team chemistry.
Yeah, he is.
Again, I had no problem when he was doing the Tim Duncan, like, yo, I'm private, don't bother me. That's fine.
Yeah.
But you gotta have some kind of team chemistry to be successful.
And for me, I'm not saying Kawhi isn't like I'm not saying Kawhi can't fit on a team, but the problem with this Clippers team is that they built the team around Kawhi and not Kawhi fitting into their team.
Yes.
Because on the Raptors, that's exactly what happened. The Raptors have been in the Eastern Conference Finals all the time. DeRozan was taking them places they've never been before. And they were looking like a contender. They were best record in the East multiple times. And you just insert Kawhi there. Perfect fit. Just keep going. Yep. Not perfect, but good fit. And they kept going. It kept being good. But when you start with someone who's that selfish, how do you put pieces around something that isn't going to branch, isn't going to let their branches out to the pieces? You know what I'm saying?
What bothers me more than anything is he asked for Paul George. Like, nobody thought, like, the Clippers. You remember how shocking that was?
It was shocking for me, yeah.
We find out that he specifically was like, yo, get me Paul George or I'm not coming here.
Yeah. Because I think I heard that Paul George news first, if I'm not mistaken, that he was going to go to the Clippers. I'm like, oh, wow. The Clippers are like, they're there. And then they're like, oh, and Kawhi also chose the Clippers. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah.
And what's crazy now is a year and a half, and y'all don't look like friends. Y'all don't look like y'all play, like y'all know how to play together. Like, what was the point of all that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But even as a player, even as Kawhi, I don't know. You're scouting like, who do I want to play with? Oh, I think me and Paul George would be perfect. I don't know who said that to him. Like, yo, you should get Paul George.
Bro, it's like a 2K thought.
Yeah.
Because we were all in the same boat, though. Everybody was so hyped.
Yeah.
About them teaming. I thought from a basketball, everybody talked about the defense. They not letting anybody get off.
Of all things, I didn't like it, but of all things, I did think the defense was going to be good. Yeah.
And Luka Doncic looks like he legit looks like Larry Bird when he plays them.
Yeah, he does.
Oh my God, they're like allergic to playing good defense on him.
Yeah.
Oh, the most fundamentally sound superstar. I'm a reach. I'm gonna try to get a steal. That's what I'm gonna do.
Yep.
Okay, Paul George.
All right. Let's keep going. These deals are a lot smaller, but they're still pretty important.
Denver.
George Hill to the 76ers.
Oh. That's a good pickup.
That's it?
But I think it's weird. I think Seth filled what I would expect George Hill to bring in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more of like a shock that Seth could be like a point scorer guard.
Yeah, but I think George Hill gives them that extra ball mover, but also if I'm open, I'm going to knock it down. I think they were a little bit light there. Just a little bit.
He doesn't hurt.
Yeah, he does.
He could have gone to any roster and maybe he wouldn't have found time, but he wouldn't have hurt the roster.
Right. Matt Thomas to the Jazz. They just added more shooters. No big deal.
I don't care.
Bielitsa to the Heat. We didn't talk about him. Does he? I don't really see that fitting.
He fits a little bit better than Olynyk, I think. He doesn't just like throw up everything he touches.
Yeah, but he's kind of a weird position for them. Because like I think a lot of times they play without his position on the court. Like they don't
true. Yeah.
Have a four on the court a lot of times.
He's probably going to be a guy. I don't know if he's going to be there long, but I wouldn't be surprised if when they're fully healthy, he's not part of the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
But like he gets off on the like we're resting either Bam or like Achua.
Yeah.
Or like one of the bigs.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a guy, maybe not get off, but get a lot of minutes on those kinds of nights.
Right. Okay. Norman Powell for Gary Trent and Rodney Hood. This one
probably my favorite move of the trade deadline.
This one for me, man, when I read it, I was disappointed, but I also thought it was probably my favorite move. Because I liked what Gary Trent gave to Portland. Because Gary Trent didn't hurt Portland at all.
No.
And
big help. He was a big help.
He's another guy. I don't think he hurts anybody. He plays hard defense. He doesn't turn the ball over. He doesn't take a lot of bad shots. If he's open, he's going to hit a bunch of threes. That's what everyone wants in a guard right now. So I thought that was kind of whack that they had to lose him. But losing Rodney Hood did nothing. I knew Rodney Hood was going to get traded. But Norman Powell, man, first game, he goes off.
Yes. And I'm not going to overestimate the first game. That was great.
Yeah, because Dame didn't play.
Right.
So he didn't get the full chemistry.
I had to think about this. My initial, it took me a second to realize this. We talk about Portland changing up the roster every offseason or trade deadline or whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody that comes into Portland, and we do this, they do this. How do they fit? Like, what role do they fit on the team?
Mm-hmm.
That hasn't worked.
Mm-hmm.
For a lot of different reasons, in the meaningful moments, something about them having roles gets just thrown away. I don't know if it's the play style, the coaching, probably a mix of both.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's bad defense.
Yeah.
But a lot of the roles and kind of what guys are out there for, especially not Dame and CJ.
Yep.
It just gets erased.
Yep.
And they finally said enough of that. Enough of like trying to figure out how we're gonna bring a guy and what he's gonna. Norman Powell is not like that.
No, he's not.
Norman Powell is an explosive bench scorer.
And he's one of those guys. What do you need? I'll do it. And that's it. You need threes? I got you. You need defense? I got you. You need rebounds? Exactly. I got you.
Exactly. And they've been in desperate need of just excitement off their bench.
And we talk about it every time we talk about Norman Powell. The momentum god. If they're on a run, he will keep the run going.
Toronto without him probably would be like one of the lowest seeds in the league.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they are pretty low, but
yeah,
he's been exactly what Portland has been missing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. They're not winning a championship if they don't play defense. Norman Powell ain't that good.
Right.
But this, like now, I don't mind him having bad games because I know he could go off in another game.
Mm-hmm.
So many guys have come through, like, you know, the 3-and-D guys come in there. Yeah. And if they miss 3 shots, I'm mad they're even on the court.
Yep.
Okay, Dame can't get shots because he's getting double teamed. CJ, you know, didn't wake up for this one.
Can't do that.
Norman, get him up.
Yeah. And Norman,
go ahead.
If you open up the lane, Norman's coming there too.
Exactly. Norman ain't shy about taking the most shots, which everybody else seems to be on Portland.
Except Melo.
Well, Melo's different because Melo's a Hall of Fame scorer.
Yeah.
So he gets a different like pedigree than other guys do.
Right, I got you.
But like Gary Trent is a perfect example where they maxed him out as far as like how he impacts the team.
Mm-hmm.
But you really, if you think about it, you can already picture it. If he's missing shots, we're going to be watching in the playoffs like, God damn it. What is he out there for?
Right.
I never feel like that with Norman Powell. And I've seen him go over. I've seen him miss, I've seen him just play like trash.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that explosiveness that they only ever get from their backcourt and Melo.
Yep.
And, Nurkic pretending he could give him that.
I'm still waiting for Derek Jones to give them some explosiveness, but
just catch a lob, please.
I can't remember last time. I mean, he's dunked off the rebound, something like that, a garbage basket dunk, but I haven't seen him like really, he used to have a highlight every other game on Miami when he was playing.
Yep.
So
I just think, I think their closing lineup, they can't do it right now, but it needs to include Powell and Melo. They can't do it because they don't have like a reliable defensive center.
Right.
But if they get that in the offseason, like if they had gotten Drummond, I'd have got rid of Nurkic.
If they had gotten Drummond, it would have been a wrap for me, in my opinion.
It would have been a wrap, bro. I need somebody to like, if Dame or CJ get beat or if anybody gets beat, I need somebody down there to like send it.
Mm-hmm.
Whiteside came in and couldn't do that every night.
And that's all they needed from him. That's it. They really needed nothing else from Whiteside.
Yes. But he'll take trash mid-range jumpers.
Yeah.
But block everything. Oh, hey, I don't got enough energy for that.
Even though I just led the league in blocks
coming
last year.
Off the damn bench.
Yeah.
But anyway, again, I think Powell doesn't solve all their issues. But I'm tired of struggling to figure out how guys would fit there.
Do you think they go small and well, you said they needed another center. You don't put Covington in their final lineup? Is it between Covington and Melo, whoever, if Melo's hot, he's out there.
If Covington, I guess Covington could be in there over Powell to close the game. I just think Powell's randomness is so needed for them. It
also could be, offense, defense thing. They may just switch it out if CJ isn't, he's not on fire or anything, then Powell's out there. Or if they have to guard someone special on defense, Powell's out there. When we switch back to offense and we need a basket, we throw CJ back in there.
Right.
Something like that. They got options, though. They didn't have options before.
Exactly.
Yep. Okay. Moving on.
Denver.
Okay, you want to go there?
Yeah.
Denver and Orlando. Oh, wait. No. Let's do Chicago first.
Okay.
Vucevic to Chicago. And they got Theis. They might have. I mean, they got a strong front court, right?
They're positioning themselves to kind of do what Philly did, where Philly went from trust the process to like elite in the conference.
Yeah. You see Boston doing that?
Chicago, I think, is on its way.
Okay.
They're developing the right way. Now they got the right roster together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure about their record right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think next year they have no excuse not to be a top 8 Eastern Conference team.
Okay.
They're getting there. They're figuring out. They're getting rid of Otto Porter. You know, he helped them, but you're paying him a lot to help a little bit.
Right.
So that's okay. I think now your front court he gives you a great balance of like offensive explosiveness and high IQ, solid defense.
Yep. And, you know, they got rid of Wendell Carter, I think, right, in that trade. But you got Theis. So
yes. I think Theis and Vucevic more than make up for Carter's. I mean, his biggest thing was rebounding.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they can make that up. I mean,
oh, yeah.
Who did they give up Markkanen to?
No, they got Markkanen. They kept Markkanen.
Oh, they kept him.
Yeah.
I was expecting them to move him just because they haven't really used him well.
I was too. I think I asked you a couple weeks ago, would you trade Markkanen for Vucevic? Didn't I?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
I thought I did.
I don't remember us talking about it in depth though. If you did.
But I definitely thought Markkanen was going to get moved because. Yeah, I think kind of fit-wise that Wendell Carter is easier to keep. Like if I were to trade somebody and add them to the team, I think Wendell Carter just keeps playing his game. But I think Markkanen may need to do something a little bit different than what he's been doing.
Yeah.
Or he may get opened up more. So it could be, it's two-sided.
I think Vucevic is such an easy offensive fit.
Mm-hmm.
There's not going to be too much of a problem. And again, they've been moving in the right direction just as far as play style.
Yeah. They got in my opinion, second best coach in the East. Or, top 3 coach in the East right now.
Yeah. So I think they can make a playoff push this year if their record's still within striking distance.
Yeah, it is. It is. Man,
so...
I mean, these guys, they got to play all the way to the end this season. Like, it may come down to the last game in the East.
Yeah, I saw Wizards got eliminated.
Yeah.
But Chicago, I didn't expect Chicago to probably be the most active team during the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like it, man. I think they went for similar to like Philly made the Jimmy Butler move.
Yeah.
And took off.
Yep.
And this is, to me, maybe not as much of an individual impact, but for a team that's already trending in the right direction, this is 2 perfect pickups.
Yeah, right now they're at 10, so they will be in the double elimination playoff tournament, a play-in tournament.
Just get them in. As long as they get in there, I'm happy. I think they can make noise just getting in.
Yeah. Right now, they're 12 games behind, so they're 2. I'll just say what the numbers are. So the Knicks are at the 4th seed. They're 8 games behind. Charlotte and Atlanta are both tied for 8.5. Boston is at the 7th seed. So Boston would play the play-in game. They'd have to win 1 out of 2. And they're at 9. And then the Heat, Pacers are both at 10. Chicago's at 12. And the Raptors are 11th right now, and they're 13.5, so they're not out of it either.
And all teams that, like, even when they're bad, you still got to take them seriously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, like, even Toronto, you've been pretty right on Toronto not being good.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about it probably closer to the end of the season, depending on how they do. But Toronto's not a team you could just relax on.
Right. I think getting Gary, Trent, and Hood helps them a little bit.
Stabilizes their, like, perimeter scoring a little bit.
Yeah, it does. And it gives them more of a, Rodney Hood at his best is, like, still more of a go-to guy than they have at the 2 or 3. I mean, without Powell. They have Van Vliet and Lowry, and then no one else can get their own bucket on the team except Siakam. So at least Hood gives them somebody who can get a bucket. But yeah, back to Chicago, definitely, man. They have a chance to make if they can get Indiana out of there, they have a chance to make the top 8 with the play-in now. So they're there.
I don't know, man. LeVert getting warmed up for Indiana.
Yeah, he is.
It's not quite translate. I mean, he did get him a win already, almost individually.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I think he could just unlock, like, the scoring issues that Indiana has had. I think he could fix all of that.
He might. This is a crazy looking playoff, man. We got the Knicks at 4th, Charlotte at 5, Atlanta at 6. 3 teams that didn't make the playoffs at all in the last, 3 years? And now we got, man, that's huge. And then Chicago too.
I need the Knicks in the playoffs just for the culture.
Oh, they're making the playoffs for sure. For sure. Okay. Next one. Let's go to Denver. The Denver-Orlando blockbuster trade. Gary Harris and RJ Hampton and a first-round pick for Aaron Gordon. And Gary Clark.
Don't know Gary Clark, so not really going to mention him. But Denver, good job.
Okay.
Denver, I think, fixed any concerns I had with them.
Okay.
As much as you could. I mean, maybe they could have filled Harris's position specifically.
Yeah.
But I think Gordon gives them the same exact versatility that Grant gave them.
Yep.
And Gordon's athleticism is a little bit different. But I think the way he can impact Denver is very similar.
I agree.
Because he's a guy who he's not going to kill you from the perimeter, but he's going to keep you honest, just like Grant did.
Yep. And you don't run out there either because,
exactly.
if you let him go by you already know what's going down.
And that's the other thing that I loved about Grant that I think Gordon can do really well is he is more of what you said with Powell as far as, like, what do we need from you? Go do that.
Gordon, you're saying?
Yeah, I think Gordon is more of a starter caliber player that could also do that.
Right.
And I just think he's, to me, I think he's going to fit in well.
Yeah.
I think he's going to improve their defensive issues along with McGee, who I think is a sleeper big pickup.
Really big pickup.
Because he gets Hartenstein out of there.
Not even sleeper. He's just a huge pickup to me.
Right.
Because
now
a lot of teams would want to have him.
And now when Jokic comes out the game, you got a guy who's trying to send everything.
Yep. And an unselfish guy.
Right. I don't want a guy trying to take charges and, like, being fundamentally sound. I need a guy to just go for shit.
Yep. And he's a better lob catcher than Plumlee. And when Plumlee was doing that, it helped them so much.
Yes.
And he's, a lot better at it. So great pick.
Yeah. Again, I think their only slight issue, kind of to what you said, was like Harris's position specifically.
Mm-hmm.
I think now their guards, there's a little bit more pressure on their guards to do what their roles are, which is, but Barton is the big one to me.
Right.
Because Morris has exceeded expectations pretty much for 2 years now.
Yeah, but they need him on the bench. They need him coming off the bench.
For sure. Yeah. And I think I'm not really I trust Morris enough that I know he's gonna come in there and be a high IQ player.
Oh yeah.
That's really what they need, and he does that every time.
Yep.
Barton is always been that probably their biggest question mark.
Mm-hmm.
Because Barton has the explosiveness of Powell, but he has the shot taking purgatory of like a Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
And or even like a Terence Ross, who I was surprised didn't get moved, by the way.
Yeah.
But I just think Barton is a guy who either makes everything click perfectly or keeps it a little bit stiff.
Right.
But the big problem for them, I think they're so talented, I don't mind them having the occasional offensive struggle.
Yeah, I agree.
Gordon upgrades them defensively.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
And, I mean, to keep it real, they could go huge and move Michael Porter Jr. to the 2 because he can play the 2.
Yep.
And Porter, I mean, yeah, Porter at the 2, Gordon at the 3, Millsap, and Jokic and JaVale McGee. I mean, they got Gordon is so versatile. Michael Porter Jr. is so versatile. They can play around a lot.
Yes.
They can.
My one thing now to like, and I should have said this for Portland too. Like now with Portland's different, but now Denver, you're big. You're officially back to big.
Right.
Got to rebound.
Oh yeah.
Way too many times they're like an average rebounding team.
Yep.
Even though they have, the tools to be a good rebounding team.
And that's one thing that is bad about Michael Porter Jr. And we talked about this a little bit, but they use him as if he's a whatever you need, I'll do it guy, but don't tell him what they need. That's how I feel. Like I've seen Porter have 10 rebound games in like the first quarter and a half. Like I've seen him go crazy with rebounds, but it's like they just don't ask him to do that every night for some reason.
Some of that I think is on him though, because he comes in there and sometimes you could just see he's hunting shots.
Yeah, but again, sometimes they ask him to. Sometimes it looks like they're playing for him to get some shots, and then the next game they don't pass it to him at all. So then he does try to, like you said, hunt for shots, and then he's not in the paint anymore.
Yeah,
it comes down to them not giving him a clear role. Still, I still don't see it.
Yeah, and my only knock, and we talked about it a number of episodes ago, but my only knock on him is like the Lakers do that with Kuzma.
Mm-hmm.
But Kuzma can thrive just by playing really hard.
Right.
I need to see more of that from Porter Jr.
I agree.
Just fly around and get random putbacks and random blocks.
Right.
Like that'll just get you going. It'll get the team going. Forget it's always seems like he's got to make shots to contribute in a meaningful way.
Yeah, and I guess that's just the kind of guy he is. But the flip side is the Lakers reward Kuzma for it. And Michael Porter Jr., they just say, hey, man, wait. I remember one time Coach Brown, right? Our coach.
Oh, no.
We were watching film, and I had a nice steal. And I remember the assistant coach saying, hey, TC, you get a steal every time you're in the game. I had a nice steal. I made a little inside out, took a guy to the basket, got the layup, took me out the game, right? And we're watching the film. He took me right out the game. Oh. He's like, hey, TC, way to make something happen there. And that was it, right? And when I see Michael Porter Jr. sometimes, That's how I feel like the team just is like, yo, man, nice play there. And like, we're done. Like, that's it. You're not getting the ball again, though. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see that sometimes. And when you're
that's fair.
Michael Porter Jr., like, well, man, what do you need? Just tell me what you need me to do, and I'll do it. But I don't see that ever happening in the games. I think adding Gordon, though, they are almost forced to do that now.
Right.
Because otherwise they'll be running into each other on the court.
But I think like Jokic being such a talented passer, you remember how Grant would just get like just such great shots sometimes.
Yeah.
Just off of like just Jokic doing like the handoff randomness.
Yeah.
I think Gordon can do the same thing.
He can, yeah. And he's like Grant too, in the way where he doesn't need to take a lot of dribbles. Like Grant is like a 3-dribble guy. Like I think he plays the 3-dribble one-on-one all the time. Like he's one of those guys. I catch it, boom, boom, boom. I need to get a shot off. And Gordon's the same thing. Gordon doesn't dribble for more than 6 seconds of the shot clock. Never.
Yeah.
And that helps them because they're a team that moves the ball. But also similar to what we said about Rondo, a lot of times Jokic gets into the if I give you the ball, you better shoot kind of thing too. Sometimes. But I may be hating on Jokic, so I won't go further into detail about that. But I've seen him.
We'll see.
Sometimes where it's like, yo, I gave you that, you didn't shoot it. He'll do some visible like shrug thing or get upset a little bit because he thought the guy was wide open and they thought they were making a good play. But, you know, they thought they were making a better play, should say.
I wonder if Grant 2.0, I wonder if Gordon coming in there will kind of fix Jamal Murray's shot taking. Because with Grant, it didn't happen very often, but with Grant, Murray occasionally got good shots. I haven't seen Murray go a quarter taking only good shots yet this year.
I'm not sure if...
Or at least a consistent like minute or two of him taking good shots.
I'm not sure if Gordon is respected in the same way that Grant is as a role player yet. I mean, we'll have to see it. We'll have to see it.
For sure, he's not.
So I think that may be the only thing holding that back. But he might be. When they use him there, he might be. I don't know. We didn't talk about Aminu going to Chicago. Anything?
No.
Gary Harris do anything for the Magic?
No. What?
Okay. Just asking, man. I'm just asking.
Dude, Orlando, I feel like Orlando waited like 3 years to do this.
They waited way too long. Vucevic has been asking to leave there for years. DeLon Wright for Corey Joseph, anything?
If Sacramento could play some fucking defense, it would be something.
What else did they 2 second rounds? Piston got 2 second rounds. Pistons. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
It pisses me off how trash Sacramento is.
Yeah, me too.
Like Houston.
They're wasting Fox's years and Buddy.
Houston, the organization just said, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Sacramento didn't do that.
Nope.
They just, I don't know, bro. Something about the way they play is really bad.
Sacramento just has to say, okay, we're all in. We're keeping Buddy and Fox. Everybody else is available. We need some stars, and we need to make it. We need to make the playoffs this year. Like they just need to say that.
Yes, I forgot we talked about rookies of the year. Halliburton.
Yeah,
he's next in line. Not Edwards needs a couple more big games to get in there.
No, Halliburton is definitely next in line because I forgot too. And when I saw him have a good game the other night, I was like, oh yeah, he's the one.
I did too. I was like, shit, he's been carrying the offense low key.
Yeah, he's the one. He got it. Sorry,
Fox is having all these big games, and they're getting outscored.
I know he has 40, and they still get outscored.
They have by far the most 120 to 130 games in the league.
I think someone did say they were leading the league in points per game. I think I heard that, or they were up high in it.
Wizards were top like 3 in that last year, so shows you what that stat does.
Right. Did we talk about PJ Tucker on Milwaukee?
I was hoping to see that on Friday. I was kind of salty I didn't.
Real quick.
I feel like we've been going for like 2 hours already.
We're up there.
It's always basketball. We always get stuck on basketball.
We do. Real quick, does Terence Ferguson belong in the NBA? Honestly.
No.
Okay. JJ
Where is he at?
Dallas?
Where is he even at?
He's a free agent.
Oh, he should stay. If Terence Ferguson gets signed and Gerald Green stays home.
He's 12 years younger than Gerald Green, though.
12 years more trash, too.
And 12 might be it. Might be over the top. He's definitely 8 to 10 years younger.
Ferguson is. I don't, no need to swear more than I do, but not good. I'll just say.
All right. Any other news? JJ to Dallas. You want anything?
He hasn't played in a while, but I think him coming in for specifically Josh Richardson, I think could be really big for them.
Okay.
Because going from and Richardson has started playing much better lately.
Yeah.
But I think getting in a cleaner 3 point specialist.
Mm-hmm.
I think with their high energy guards and bigs doing random shit, I think it works a lot better.
Yeah. Marquis Chris to the Spurs, even though he's out for the season, nothing.
Why is he out for the season?
Remember he tore something second game of the season.
Oh yeah. It was third game, I want to say.
Yeah, it was really, really early.
Really early. Yeah, the first, second week.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember them saying he was done.
Brad, that's not the answer as far as fixing your front court, San Antonio. No, even if he's healthy.
It helps though. It helps. I mean, I don't even know who they played at backup center.
But before. If you didn't figure out your starter, I don't care who he's backing up.
I'm starting Marquis Chris over.
Oh, that's fine, but that's trash still.
Yeah. And when I was saying they got their backup, it's Pirtle.
They need a starting center who's solid.
They do.
Because I could get away with Pirtle as a backup,
right?
Or Chris. It doesn't matter.
But neither of them is a starter.
No.
Brad want to make it to the Hornets. Nothing.
I actually think that helps them a little bit because LaMelo's out, but they're a playoff team.
Yeah, and he's a ball mover. He's quick. He plays good defense. Yes. I mean,
they have a little bit of a too many cooks in the kitchen scenario
with guards.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think Wanamaker, you could plug him in there and fit him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How many guards could you picture prior being oh, we're sending that guard to Charlotte? Can they fit? I'd more often than not, I'd be no.
Right.
But Wanamaker, I think, is and he's physical. He's got that old man vet thing. And the hard foul.
Third year in the league.
Right.
Even though he is an old man.
Right. But he's got that hard foul that let's make sure we pass it to the good player in the lineup.
Yeah.
So I think it fits them pretty well.
And he's a threat. If you you can't really leave him and you can't run out there on him because he is quick, he's strong, and he makes good passes. Yeah. He helps them, but he more
obviously it's not a big impact.
Yeah, I was gonna say he more doesn't hurt them than he helps them.
That's a good way to put it.
I think that's it for that. So let's do the 2 big ones. We didn't even get to the 2 biggest pickups. The Nets got LaMarcus Aldridge.
Crickets.
What do you think?
Dude, like multiple people reached out to me with like when something crazy happens in the NBA, I have two other people that like reach out to me and are like, whoa, like this just happened. Like, what do you think? If I don't, tell them first.
You saw what I said when I reached out to you.
Why do
about
people
it.
care? I understand. I get Blake. I'm excited that he's there, especially seeing him the first couple games.
Yeah, and we're both Blake fans.
Right. And Blake's been washed for a year, maybe a year and a half.
Blake is a very emotional person, and I think that he carries the team's emotion with him, and when the team's trash, he's trash.
Right.
So, yeah.
And you see the energies night and day already.
Absolutely. The team's good. All of a sudden, Blake's catching alley-oops. He's dunking on people. He's
diving on the floor.
He's getting technicals. He's fighting with people. Like, that's what, it's great.
But LaMarcus has been washed for 4 years.
Yeah.
When was the last time he sustained a season of good basketball?
Just that first year in San Antonio.
How long was that? Like, how long ago was that?
It's 5 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Half a decade he's been trash.
Because it was a year where, they still had Ginobili and Kawhi.
Yes. The last year, I want to say.
Who's? Ginobili's?
Like, yeah, the big threes.
It was the year before Kawhi decided to just stop playing.
Yeah, because I remember when he first came in, like they were kind of playing through him, and sometimes it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kawhi got nice, and then Kawhi got drama. Aldridge couldn't guard anybody.
Yeah.
And his turnarounds, his left or his right shoulder turnarounds didn't look as unstoppable as they used to. Am I tripping?
You had to go down to the shoulder, make sure you picked the right shoulder.
Yeah, because it was a specific one.
I didn't know you had a go-to turnaround.
It was on the left side, turn around to the baseline.
Into a fadeaway?
Yeah. Yeah. He was feasting off that.
He was, yeah.
There was like 3 years when like we talk about with Luka's like one, and then the second step is much slower.
Yeah.
So teams act like they can't figure that out. It was the same shit with Aldridge's turnarounds.
Yeah, Aldridge was like a mid-range like legend.
Dead-eye, for sure.
Time, yeah. Yep.
But again, like I said, he's been washed for years.
Mm-hmm.
And now, because the defense is getting so bad, it gets exposed so quickly in the playoffs.
Yep.
And LaMarcus couldn't guard when he wasn't washed.
Yep.
So now, like, that's what bothers me about this. People are getting excited, like, whoa, the Nets are so unfair. Like, what are you talking about?
They were unfair before LaMarcus, and LaMarcus doesn't make them more unfair.
LaMarcus has to me, he has no impact on them. I mean, okay, maybe you bring him in, he'll hit a couple jumpers. Okay. Mm-hmm. A lot of guys can do that.
Right, yeah. He doesn't have any specific individual impact. No, he does not. You're right. I mean, because, like, what? David West, when he was on Golden State, he came in, he'd be open for the jumper, maybe he'd hit it. He set it hard screen, and he's done for the night.
Yep.
And that's I could see that with LaMarcus. I think LaMarcus probably would take more shots than that, but he won't be in long enough to really go crazy. They have too many guys. Because who are you going to sit? Someone is sitting when LaMarcus is in the game, and it's someone that could be doing more than LaMarcus. Tired.
That's a great way to put it. And my thing is, I was such a fan of him in Portland. And it's not that he left to San Antonio, because I actually thought it was a really cool move, like a big free agent picking San Antonio while they were still really good.
Yeah.
It's how he played in San Antonio that pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, not enough people kind of saw how like selfish he was.
Yeah, and that's why I was never a LaMarcus fan. And to me, I've always been a Damian fan. So I always talk about it, them abandoning him that year. LaMarcus, his team, his team was going the right direction with him being a leader on the team. Great. He got sick of that. He kind of instantly became like a diva after like that second to last year in Portland. Like, I think as soon as Damian got there, pretty much, but LaMarcus became like, I deserve better than this. Like, I should be on a team that values me, or I'm the go-to guy. We're gonna win a championship. Because
I think that's it.
And then all of a sudden, and now he just chasing a championship. It really has nothing to do with the game. I never felt like LaMarcus Aldridge respected basketball, to be honest.
But you think about it, Damian took off as soon as he arrived.
Yep.
All of a sudden, LaMarcus doesn't want to be there.
Yep. And the team was great. They went to the second round of the playoffs for the first time since like Scottie Pippen was there.
And he was cooking Houston.
Yeah, and they still weren't sure if Brandon Roy wasn't coming back, right?
Right. I think it was like the last chance.
Yeah.
I don't know why he threw that name out. It made me sad, but
they would have been.
But my point is, okay, Damian takes off immediately. LaMarcus is like, I want to go somewhere else.
Yep.
Prior to that, I'd never seen him have a problem in Portland.
Never.
As soon as Damian becomes the guy, now I don't want to be here.
Yep.
He goes to San Antonio, and if you remember, Kawhi hadn't blown up yet.
Right.
He was starting to like become great. He already got a Finals MVP. He wasn't the star he became shortly after LaMarcus got there.
Right.
Kawhi becomes a star. If you remember, LaMarcus wanted to leave.
He did. Yep.
They had all this weird like issues. Greg Popovich had to like come to bat for him to try to say like everything was cool when there was all these reports coming out.
They kept talking to Ginobili about it, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And Ginobili's like, I don't know what's wrong with Kawhi. I don't know what's wrong with LaMarcus. Remember?
Exactly.
He kept getting annoyed by that. So
exactly. And I think there was a moment when he was really good that I think he wanted to be the number one guy for a stretch of time.
Yeah.
And it never really it never happened for him just because other guys kind of stole his chance.
And there's just never been there's never been a champion who's a mid-range scoring power forward.
Well, this is game, it's been so long. I don't even remember his flaws really, other than he couldn't guard. But he
couldn't go to the basket really either. I mean,
oh no,
he can't drive. His threes are spotty. It's just he just has what he does. He's perfect at it, and that's it though.
He's got the high quick release, so he could get him off.
He gets him off.
The defense is good.
Oh yeah. His mid range is unstoppable. It really is. If he wants to give you buckets, he's going to give you buckets. But that's it.
I just thought he never was a leader of any kind.
No, the teammates never looked at him as a leader. Never.
And he came to San Antonio and he didn't fit from day one.
And Dame was the leader immediately. Yep. And you're right. He didn't fit in San Antonio.
Again, I just think he wanted to get a chance to be the number one guy. He saw the contracts for number one guys were starting to get out of control.
He knew that that San Antonio valued their power forward, their Hall of Fame power forward.
Right. And they'd been looking for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I remember a lot of excitement about these guys are retiring. Aldridge just coming in to be the next guy.
The dynasty's going to keep going.
Right, because not everybody left, and Aldridge is just late. He's honestly, even at his peak in Portland, he's always been lazy. He plays lazy. He moves lazy. He looks like he has like, retired person back problems.
He might.
He might. And now and again, we go from him being toxic in Portland, him being toxic in San Antonio, to him being like in and out of the team for 2-3 years. And now he's ring hunting.
Right.
And people are like, whoa, LaMarcus Aldridge on the Nets. Like, LaMarcus Aldridge has to remind me that he can still play basketball.
Exactly.
So it doesn't mean anything for me.
And that he can play basketball with someone who's better than him, because he hasn't shown me that in his old career. And
not just to come in and score.
Right.
Sometimes you got to come in and like rebound. Can you even do that? Because you didn't show me any of that in San Antonio. So why would I think you had chances to be a contender there?
Kyle Anderson was giving more contributing minutes than him at one point. Shout out to Slow-Mo.
That says it all.
All right. Now, finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. The Lakers have just upped their chances to win the title, to repeat. LeBron has, the Infinity Gauntlet.
My God, bro.
They have the 4-time rebounding champion, 2-time All-Star Andre Drummond has just signed with the Lakers.
Bro, honestly, bro, forget Anthony Davis. They're a contender. They're a premier Western Conference team without him.
If Anthony Davis doesn't come back?
Yes. Before they were starting to ball out before LeBron messed up his ankle, by the way.
They had picked it up. Yeah. They were losing. They lost those first 3 games in a row. Then all of a sudden they looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their schedule got a little easier, so they feasted on a lot of like the Minnesotas.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they still look flawed without Anthony Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Gasol just doesn't really round out your front court. Nope. And Kuzma's a power forward, but he's a wing to me.
Yeah, he's a wing. Yeah.
He's like a wing with like little hints of power forward skill.
Yep.
But now Drummond, I mean, dude, LeBron is unstoppable with an elite big man.
Yeah, he is.
And now the big man becomes unstoppable off of LeBron.
This is the perfect fit for Drummond for you? Because you were kind of hating when we were
for sure.
We were talking about it.
I think Drummond is like his impact is fluke.
Wow. Okay. It still is on the Lakers?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
But that's the thing. Dwight's impact for a lot of years was fluke.
Mm-hmm.
On the Lakers, it looked like the other 29 teams didn't have an answer.
Drummond is starting on the Lakers, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not so much about like starting or coming off the bench.
I was just asking. I know. Yeah.
But I think playing alongside LeBron.
Lob City. It's going to be a lot of alley-oops in LA, man.
My God.
Clippers out there were Lob City with Drummond, Anthony Davis, and Montrezl. Clear the lane. Every time.
Bro,
nope.
All LeBron got to do is take as much time as you need for that ankle. We'll slip in the standings quite a bit, but
I like Schroeder and Drummond. I like.
Oh yeah, for sure, sure, dude. Everybody on this team, like this team, is built for Drummond to thrive.
It is.
Drummond gets to do what Dwight did. He doesn't have to defend as much.
Nope.
And the rebounds are going to be easy.
He's a head and shoulders better rebounder than Dwight.
And what do the Lakers love to do? They love to struggle to make open shots.
Yep. And they love to rebound and push the ball.
Yes.
And
they're like, they'll force it in.
And Drummond has been able, this year, he's been able to rebound and get the ball up to half court by himself.
Right.
Like, if everyone can go, or if you don't go and I got the rebound, I can push it a little bit before I have to pass it. Like he's done that.
Yeah.
I don't want him doing that every time, but the fact that he can do it, the one thing that made Golden State so dangerous is that once Draymond got it, everyone is gone.
Right.
And now Drummond being able to do that and Anthony Davis being able to do that. Man. Like I texted you earlier. Game plan for the Lakers, do not miss because you're not getting a second chance. Make sure you take good shots because there's no second chances.
My problem with Drummond is his entire time in the league, there's been like pressure on him to be part of the offense. Like teams have forced like this, like feeding him in the post and like, trying to show out his skill set out of like the mid post and stuff like that, like the Zion kind of plays.
Yeah.
On the Lakers, forget all that. All you got to do, like his role will be so limited, yet it'll cater to everything he does great.
And I think he will get his chances because
yes. And now when you're limited role and you're thriving in that, now it's easier to hit jump hooks because you're comfy.
Yeah, and Drummond's he has an underrated drop step, the drop jab. His drop jab is tough.
His drop step, no, but drop jab, yes.
Just the drop jab. Because when he does the spin and he does that hard jab, and guys go for it. And his first step is quick for his like weight. I won't say weight, but maybe his frame. So he catches guys with that, and he will because chances are the best big defender will be on Anthony Davis. So the second best will be guarding Drummond, and he's gonna eat.
And with that, in LeBron's favorite time to crash the offensive glass is when the other team can't guard the other four players from crashing the offensive glass.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see LeBron's putbacks going up. Yep. Like you said, the law. I mean, the reason they were the best team by far is because their inside dominance was just not even close to anybody else.
Yep.
And I think this just puts them in that same category.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Is it a wrap?
For if LeBron's ankle is straight, then yes.
Okay.
Because I think AD's missing playoff games. I don't think it's going to be specifically from this injury. It might be from he needs a rest or something.
Yeah.
But if LeBron and Drummond are there with the Schroeder and Montrezl and KCP, nobody's beating them in the West.
Fair. I agree.
Unless Jokic does like what Murray did last year, would just make crazy shit all playoffs.
It's not happening.
Right.
Not happening. No. So you think Denver is their only threat?
Yeah. Dallas is. I want to say Dallas, but they're not.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dallas. Dallas got to make the playoffs and stay in the playoffs. But okay. I have nothing else to add. I think that is it for today.
Yeah, Draymond, you trash for thinking you're the best defender of all time.
Man, Shannon and Skip both gave a list of 26 guys better than Draymond. That was funny.
Dude, forget the all-time. Marcus Smart's better.
Oh, yeah.
Jimmy Butler's better.
Yeah.
Hell, what's his name when he's awake?
Oh.
It blanked. I don't know why.
What team?
Covington is better.
Oh, no, I won't say that. I won't go that far.
Covington's limited defender, so.
Yeah. You're right when he's awake. Covington will look like he's locking up because of his length, and then all of a sudden he looks like he's getting exposed the next play. But it's still better than what Draymond does sometimes. But I think I'd pick Draymond as a defender. It's close though. I'm not mad at it. That's a close one.
I had somebody else that I was thinking of, but I can't remember. Kyle Lowry's a better defender.
Yeah, he is.
Off the top of my head, I gave you 3, and you're the best defender of all time, bro.
Gave me 3 in the league right now.
And you say that, and then let a guy get 38? Couldn't be me.
Well, on the flip side, John Collins might have went for 38 just because he said that.
So?
Hey, I mean, I'm just saying.
Bro, Ben Wallace was the best defender in the league for however many years. Never said it.
They had the 2 best defenders in the league because Tayshaun Prince was a super underrated defender. He was underrated. No one talks about him, but Tayshaun Prince was like, he would have been defensive player of the year on any other team. For sure.
He was Bruce Bowen-esque to me. As far as just how like physical he was on people.
And he was longer.
Yes.
I've seen him catch, like, block people's stuff, catch shots out the air. He was the first person I saw, like, cuff a block out the sky.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was just crazy. 2 best defenders on the same team.
And
but
my
yeah,
thing is
head and shoulders over Draymond, both of them.
All right, let's just say John Collins is great. He's not 38 points great, but he is great.
Mm-hmm.
You specifically in your statement or your comment, you highlight at the end how like important rebounding is and how effective you are at it.
Yeah.
And I get 27 minutes, 2 rebounds.
How many rebounds did Collins have? Double digits?
I don't know.
It was, I mean, I know he had a good game rebounding still.
Dude,
yeah, man.
What NBA player could go 27 minutes and not take a fucking shot? Tony Snell?
Tony Snell getting a shot off.
Nah, I mean, probably not. He could. I'm just saying, like, he could run around for that long.
Oh, yeah, he could. Yeah.
But besides that, I mean,
Alan Crabbe.
No. Crabbe will get 1 off. But
wherever
Draymond, like, just shut up, bro. Please.
Yeah. That was nonsense. I didn't even really need to, entertain that. Chris Paul's a better defender. We didn't even say him. He's on his way out. He's still a better defender.
He's just not as consistent anymore, so I didn't want it. But like Marcus Smart is 5 inches shorter, and he does maybe not 5, maybe like 3 to 4 inches shorter.
Yeah.
And he does he's literally a better version of Draymond defensively.
He's just Marcus Smart is
slightly smaller.
He's nearly a flawless defender a lot of times, and he guards every position.
In my opinion, when I think best defender in the league, that's who comes to mind first.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Especially when you talk about versatility.
I mean, yeah, I argued for him to win Defensive Player of the Year on here multiple times. Yeah, I think he deserves it. I have not seen a defender in the NBA better than Marcus Smart. I haven't.
I just, we haven't really talked about this, but the Warriors have gone back to being really trash.
Steph?
No. Before Steph got hurt, they were getting just ran out the gym.
They were Oubre,
a lot of games.
Oubre, he auditioned for Space Jam again, and they took his powers again. He all of a sudden he started shooting good, 12 games, and now it's gone. He's shooting like garbage again. And I don't know what it is, and they're confident in it because I heard his name up in trade talks, but it's not there. Wiggins is taking a lot of bad shots, even though he's having good games. Steph, messes left cheek bone up, whatever it was. Yeah, he's hurt. So it's and Draymond has done nothing on offense.
Exactly. Seeing them without Steph.
Who's playing it?
They're awful.
And Wiseman, they just can't get Wiseman to be consistent yet.
They're bringing him off the bench.
Dude, I don't know what they're doing with him, honestly.
It's just
I'd rather them just trade him, too.
You the best defensive player of all time, and Steph is out, and you have no impact?
0.
you play him, dude. You're like the 6th on the team in minutes.
Goose egg.
He doesn't even take a shot.
Goose egg.
And you already know my man was looking at the box score like, hey, I got 9 assists. I don't need to shoot the ball.
Rondo shoots the ball. Trae Young shoots the ball. Everybody who leads the NBA, Ben Simmons shoots the ball. So
Marcus Smart came in strapping and shooting before he could shoot.
Yeah, he was jacking, and he was not a good shooter in college at all.
It took him years to prove that he's allowed to jag.
Yep, but he was still letting them go. He didn't care. Yep.
Anyway.
All right. Well, there you have it. NBA trade deadline talks. Tournament is still going. UCLA won, right? I believe. I was glancing at the screen. Looks like it. We'll be back next week.
Yes, sir.
Probably our first reactions to all the trades that are available. Elite 8 to Final 4. So
I'll watch Godzilla versus Kong comes out Wednesday.
Oh, I'm right at it. I'll be watching it too.
Pretty quick.
Yep. So we'll have a pack. We'll have plenty of music. Vic Mensa, Gallant, whatever, however you say his name. We'll be talking about that next week too. So, anything else? Oh, buy our merch. We got merch available.
Yes, sir.
Link in our bio.
Yes,
No Clue
sir.
Podcast, Instagram.
Thank you guys for watching, listening as always.
Subscribe, all that, all the YouTube stuff. You know how it is. The bell, hit that too. And we'll probably separate put the timestamps and separate some of the sections too. So people, you want to see a specific section, it'll be there. All right, that's it. You good?
Yep.
All right, till next time.